Okay, so we're here with Nora, and we are in CAD designing the trim implant wax up that we just finished scanning on the other side. So Nora is one of our designers. She's great. She does a great job, and she's going to show us how to do the margins on the scan that I previously showed you in the last take. So here Nora is going to be outlining the tooth and just showing us what she does. And we're going to have to do this for every one of them, right, Nora?
Yeah.
So she's coming up here. We got a couple of red arrows indicating that it's not the best. So we're taking the outer contour mostly to be able to, the margins aren't super precise, but that's what we need. We don't need them to be super precise because afterwards they're going to be worked on, they're going to be milled out in wax, and so we don't have too much of a problem with that. So what are the red lines, Nora?
It's calling like it's not correct.
So yeah, it's like the undercut, and yeah, it's undercut and things like this. So here we're just going for, so we're starting on the upper, going with number 2, number 3, number 4. On the left bottom right side is the window to show you like, okay, this is what we got to do. This is where the outline has to be. So you got to do it on preparation number 4, tooth number 4. So this is what, it tells you just basically the steps. It's not too complicated. You just have to play around with it, and it's a pretty nice program. Would you say it's easy to use, Nora? She likes using it. She's pretty good at it too. So here we can, so I think Nora, you already did all of the outlining, so that's pretty good. We got a good idea of what it is to make the margins. What do we see once we have everything? Okay, so these are the crown bottoms that are being generated, and it's all of the margins that Nora previously did. So she did them all already, and we're just showing you how to redo the margins, walking you through exo, and it has to charge up a little bit. We got lots of information here. So on the sidebar here, we got the gap, which gives us the thickness of the preparations. The start. Can you show us the start, Nora?
This is the start.
Okay, that's the start. It's basically there's not going to be any spacer there, or is there going to be
No space.
no space? Okay, so to have a nice fit, but then after the start, that's where we get 0.08 thickness. So that's where the cement would go, except that it's not going to be cement. We're just going to wax things up here. So okay, so this is what we got, and what are the arrows?
That's the path of insertion.
Okay, path of insertion for every tooth, and these are going to be bridges. So we understand that this is going to be it's going to be full. So anyways, we're looking at all the path of insertions she did next, and so that now it's generating the crown bottoms, right? And we're getting all of basically the minimum thickness, so like copings basically to start off with on all of the preparations. It's generating the crown bottoms with the copings on top, and then ExoCAD is going to place some teeth for us just to kind of give us a good estimate of what it's going to look like. Boom. There you go. You got all the teeth right there. And from here, you gotta kind of set the teeth up, right? Make sure that they're all in alignment, making them fatter or wider, or aligning them up so that they look good and they actually look like teeth. And it's all about getting the right proportions, getting a good balance between the, the the spaces between the teeth. It's basically like kind of mounting a denture, right? But digital wise, you gotta know how to use your mouse and keyboard. Making it look good, making sure that everything falls right. And this is the generic library that we always use for building up teeth. And there's the menu on the top left of the monitor, and then that kind of, you can check things on and off just to see and put yourself into precision mode about the whole. So just take off the top model and then work on the bottom teeth, or take off the bottom model and work on the top teeth. It gives you the jaw scan, all other parts. That's the spacing that's under the red that you see. Then the full anatomic crowns are the yellow crowns you see on top, obviously. So Nora's doing the placement of the teeth, and she's idealizing it without the occlusion right now, but she'll be able to see what the occlusion gives once she idealizes everything on the upper and the lower, and then work from there. Okay, so there's the two, the upper and the lower in occlusion, and you have, basically you can just see where she's replacing the midline here, making it so that they both align together. And that's also pretty important. Okay, hi. So we're back on the design, just showing up, polishing up everything that Nora has designed. So we have um, the wax up. We've adapted the teeth, and the design has been facilitated by Luke, and the video is also on Facebook. You can look it up there. Here right now we adapted the teeth and we have done the connectors, and they are ready to just. So Nora's just kind of like polishing up the wax up and making sure that everything's good to go before it gets milled. And so she's basically smoothing out the connectors, and she's making sure that this upper wax up right now is looking good. So smoothing out the connectors. And we have Frozen playing in the background, it's great. Letting go, that's what we do in our lab, in a good kind of way. So yeah, she's smoothing everything out, making sure that it looks good for when it gets milled out with the Almond Gearback milling machines. They're pretty good at what they do. Okay, nice. So we're now finishing it up, and we're about to save it. And now we can send those STL files to the milling machine, or before that to the other computer, so that we can nest and then mill. Okay, so now we are here and in the nesting process of the trim implant wax up. So we're over on the milling side with Julie, and she is showing us how to import the trim implant wax ups that were designed by Nora, and now they're being imported on a disc with Julie, and she's nesting them inside of a block of wax, and placing them on an optimal angle to be able to save material surface, and placing them on angles so she can look at different angles of the disc to make sure that she isn't going through the disc, or that the teeth aren't too tall so that they're like bigger than the disc. So now the wheel of death is turning. Ooh. Okay, what is this, Julie?
It's I earlier have you can see a lot of angles like a 40 or 42, so I tried to make them lower down.
Oh, okay. So like the undercut, maybe, or not the undercut, but making sure that the angles are at their best. Milling the insertion direction.
Yeah, like milling the insertion direction.
Ah, okay. So finding the insertion direction to mill them in the best way possible, because the burr can turn around, but there's certain angles that it won't be able to go in, even though it's a mill that can go pretty. It's a 5-axis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can mill up to, I think it's 30 degrees.
Can mill up to 30 degrees. Okay, well that's good to know. Thanks Tyler. Thanks Jung Mi. Okay, so saving material. This is what Julie's job is, basically. To make sure that we get the money's worth out of the discs that we mill out of. Now she's removing the sprues that have been automatically put onto there, and she's just going to leave them on one side so that they can so all those green arrows mean that it's going to get milled out in the right way. That means we're good. If one of the arrows was red, it probably wouldn't be good, right? So it's pretty intuitive. Thank you, Online Gearbox, and Reshape, and all of the software that we use to try and make our lives easier. Okay, so she's placing a screw on every tooth, almost.
Yes, like when we have more growth, this helps for the bridge less vibrating, which is less damage.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
so they have less growth. Yeah, they kind of.
So the more screws we got, the less it'll vibrate, and the less it will have a chance to damage the margin areas and the occlusal surface, just so that we get the most precise milling that we can get out of this.
Correct. And then we were calculating.
Okay, so now we're in the calculating. So she's done. She put all of the, so she put both bridges in. She made that the path of insertion for the milling machine, the access of the milling is good. The angles are good, and she put the screws on all the teeth that she needed for minimal damage. And now she's starting the calculation. What does the calculation do?
It's then this nesting is like for sent to our milling machine, so we can start the milling.
Okay, so yeah, it'll calculate everything to be able to
How
transfer
to
inside of the.
milling and how to grinding and day planning.
All right, so it's the planning of how the machine's gonna use the tools it has to be able to grind out inside of this disc. So that's what it is, and now we are calculating. Great, thank you.
Hi, this is continuing about we show you regarding 27 unit wax up, which is the full mouth cases. After we increase vertical dimension, and then we scan with DOF, the scanner, Freedom Scanner, and then we design with the advanced scanner, which completely designed and then mill. Arman Gilbert milling machine. So here is the before and the lower and the upper. So we increase the dimension, and then we prep the teeth after that, and then after design, then this is continue. You're going to get the journey. So I'm going to show you later about after I cut it, then put it back to the teeth. Okay.